What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hoops Corner. I'm your host, Peter Trend, and on the line, the Iceman himself, Josh Cohen. How you doing?
Doing fine. Summer's almost over, but ball season's almost here.
Yeah, you're going to be a real Iceman soon.
That is true. It comes to Canada way too quickly. The summer went by way too fast, unfortunately.
Rajan Wali, our residential medical expert, how you doing?
Sadly, summer is coming to an end, but like Josh mentioned, we're ramping up ball talk, so I guess there's some silver lining.
That's it, eh? The Olympics weren't enough?
Hey, we had the Olympics, we had Euros, we just had like another summer of actually doing things and traveling, so the sun will be missed.
That was a humble brag.
Yeah, because I'm playing in the Euros and doing the Olympics, and to be honest, I did like very little traveling. I did all my traveling before summer, but
I don't know.
A more humble brag, Josh.
I've seen his Instagram. He's been traveling around the world. He's like the new Pitbull.
Wow.
Josh, you just dated yourself.
What a dated reference.
Yeah, Josh.
Really? That's dating myself? Damn.
Oh my goodness.
What should I have said?
Nobody know who Pitbull is. Come on, man.
Should have said one of these crappy mumble rappers now. Like
Yeah.
whatever baby you want to put, G baby and little baby and
Gee, baby.
mama baby and daddy
Yo.
baby.
Shout out to Hardball, though.
Yeah, G-Baby was sick, man. What a gangster. Should look up what that actor is doing now. I wonder if he stayed acting. For like a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for that kid. Alright, enough stalling. We're doing something that Raj and I have talked about this a lot in the past. We used to do under 25 drafts. But it seems too easy. Right? Now that the league is getting younger, I want to make it more about prospects. So not just guys who are like established all-stars constantly. Like Tyrese Halliburton's like 24. I don't want to draft Tyrese Halliburton. It's too obvious. We're looking for those like gems. So we chose to under 23. Obviously just because the 22-year-olds are... I still want some name recognition with 23-year-olds. So we're going to do this in a snake order. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1 for our draft. We're going to make teams of 7. We'll have all 5 positions filled. Obviously, we'll have some flexibility. So if you want to put, like, I don't know, a couple of bigs together, you can go for it. But I don't want to hear, like, Josh Giddey is playing my 5. You know what I mean? That's just absurd. It's never going to happen. So I want to have something, like, semi-realistic. But no, the real question is, how do we start this, guys? Who's going to start this draft?
You know, Peter, first of all, I love this concept. Second of all, this is pretty much a draft of players that were born after LeBron James entered the NBA. Like, these are the LeBron James era, technically speaking. And so I think there's only one way to decide who's going to start this draft and see who's had the worst take in the last, 5 years of this podcast. And that person should be the one that leads the draft.
Whoa. Okay. I kind of wish you told me that before so I could do a little research into our big misses. Jesus.
The person who's the worst at analyzing the NBA gets Victor. Is what you're saying.
Hey, that's how the draft normally works. Like, it's not the best team gets the first pick. It's the worst, right? They need the most help.
So that is why you've been tanking for so long with all these terrible hot takes. All right.
Yeah. It's the process.
This moment. This is it.
I was going to say, between that and coming in last in fantasy for the past 2 or 3 years, I feel like Raj has to start.
I think so too.
Okay, hey, it's a new season. It's a new year. Like, you never know, but sure, I'll take Victor. I have Popovich on my side. I'm doing the process. Maybe we'll make it to the second round. Maybe we'll go further than the 76ers, so I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you turn that down?
Hey,
Is there anybody else in
kind of-
contention? That is the question.
I mean, Josh, you're going to have second pick, so what do you think?
I get the second pick?
Who would you have? Dude, I've won fantasy 2 of the last 4 years. I think I'm going to go
You do
last
realize
on
I have 2 as well, right?
Have you?
Yeah, I went back to back.
Oh, shit. Oh man, I don't know anymore.
You can have the second
I don't
pick.
know.
I'll give it to you because I actually don't know who I'm going to pick with the second pick. Second pick is tougher.
I don't want the second pick. Fine.
He wants that 3-4.
Let me see.
I know you.
Yeah, 3-4 is actually the best.
You want that
3-4
big
is a
and
way better spot.
you want that big and guard. You want that pick and pop. I know you do, Peter.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, give me Ant.
I thought you were going to do that.
Isn't that the obvious move?
It had to be.
Yeah, I think so.
All-star, already an all-star, Team USA. You know, kind of the only person, like one of the few young players that's embraced by every superstar in the league.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
He
for
is a
it to be Ant.
superstar. That's why.
He's got like the best marketing campaign right now of all the players. It has to be Ant. I actually thought about Ant as number 1 instead of Victor.
No.
Oh,
come on.
No.
No.
The generational talent. It's like that's like Tim Duncan versus like Carmelo Anthony. Like Tim Duncan's getting you chips, just fundamental, covers more areas. Not Carmelo. I think Ant's gonna be a better player than Carmelo, but Ant's a scorer.
Yeah. I mean, Carmelo had a fantastic career, obviously, but
Yeah, I'm not hating on Carmelo.
no, for sure, for sure. And Tim Duncan was a guaranteed 50-plus wins every year, conference finals pretty much every year, which I think Victor is eventually going to be as long as the Spurs don't mess it up. So, with the third pick in the draft and the fourth pick in the draft, which is, like you said, a very nice sweet spot here.
Yo, who's gonna be the first rounder though? It matters.
Yeah, to keep the guy happy, I'm going to go with Scotty Barnes. Yeah, because he's one of my favorite players, obviously. So I'm going to go with Scotty, get him off the board. The next pick is a little bit tougher for me. I feel like Scotty is the pick here. I think you can argue a guy like Paolo Banchero because of what he's been able to do in his first couple of years in the league. But after Scotty, there are some very good candidates here. This is where the draft gets tough, obviously. But ultimately, I am going to go with Chet Holmgren. I think Chet.
Whoa.
Well,
Chet
I
is
knew that was
coming up.
coming.
Whoa.
I mean, for me, I
not
had to
expect
draft a
Chet.
big because there's a lot of good bigs on the board, and I don't think they're going to come back to me once it's my pick again. But, Chet was the leader in Rookie of the Year race for half the year. He's got the skill set to be one of the elite big men in the NBA in his second season, obviously. He had a fantastic year. He's super efficient. He does everything on the floor. And I think he's only going to get better come the next few seasons. And ultimately, once I think OKC inevitably wins a championship in the next 3 years, I think his status is going to grow big time.
3 years. I like it.
If not next year.
Oof.
Yeah. Wow. Oh man, that throws a wrench in my plans
Who did
already.
you think
knew
I was
you-
picking?
Seriously? I thought you were going to go Jalen Williams.
No.
He was the other guy that I was considering. Not going to lie.
This guy loves Jalen Williams. Like Raj, it would have been
But
no.
not over
Josh
Chet.
picking Jalen Williams would have been as obvious as you picking Anthony Edwards with your second pick.
Yeah. But
You just veer towards certain players, right? Josh loves Jalen Williams. You love Anthony Edwards. It is what it is.
What does Jalen Williams not do?
overall, is he a better player than Chet though?
Right now?
Right now, probably.
It's close. I think come next year,
They're
I don't
comparable
think
now.
I don't think he's going to be considered in that. I think Chet is going to be so good on defense. I don't think it really matters what Jalen
Yep.
does overall. But offensively, if Chet becomes like a Chris Bosh type, which I think ultimately he will, I think that he's going to be a top 15 player in the NBA, if not 10 at some point.
Yeah, you'll be like a 10 to 15. I could see that easy.
Yeah.
And Jalen,
All right, well,
Jalen will be like a 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So you have 3 of the top 20 players in the NBA in the next few years, so I think they're on the right track to become a championship team for sure.
Got to pay them.
Yeah, I think OKC will be perfectly fine.
Yes.
All right. Do I take this risk? Give me Paolo. Give me Paolo Banchero at the 3.
At the 3, oh,
Paolo's solid.
you have a great backcourt there.
I have your team, Raj.
You have my
I'm just
team.
building my team with the guys that you like.
This is a lesson for me not to take all those bad picks there. This is my
Should have known better.
So I get a second and a third rounder here, eh?
Yes, sir.
I honestly, there's so many good players that I don't think I can technically go wrong, but I really did want... I wanted Paolo, but you know what? I'm going to go with Cade Cunningham in my second round. I need a guard.
That's the correct choice.
I needed a guard.
Now, do we think Cade is ultimately going to be a franchise player, or is he going to be like a 2A or possibly third option?
2A. Like, he's
So
going to be a
gonna
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. Interesting.
That's actually not a bad comp.
Hey, this is my
kinda
year.
like that.
With hot takes, with all the insight analysis, this is my year.
I like that. Has a good team built around him, but it just isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Can't quite get there, and then joins like a superstar in like his later years, probably around like 28 to 30, given the NBA is so much younger now.
Yeah.
And then helps another team win. I kind of, as a veteran presence, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I hope he goes into a winning situation soon, because it's
Yeah.
not going to happen in Detroit for a while,
And
Hey,
if ever.
if ever, yeah.
You're right. I can't even hey that. It's very true.
Like their team building concept is just awful. They just keep getting the same types of players in from the draft, and they're all talented guys. It just together, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not going to be able to get these guys into situations where they can be successful when the other guys are playing their same position as them, and none of them can shoot. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And in light of that analysis, give me James Wiseman.
Hey.
Kidding.
Chill.
Is he still under 23?
Okay. I have no idea. I'm not picking James Wiseman.
He's not even
Might
on the
actually
board.
be.
Get that man off the
I'm
board.
messing around.
He could be.
Sorry, Raj. Raj has another pick. I couldn't let the joke go, you know?
Yeah, I was sitting there. It was a layup that James Wiseman would probably inevitably miss. I am going to go fill out my front court here just because I think defensively he's such a good player, and I still don't think we've seen the best of him. Evan Mobley.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Pretty good pick.
Yes.
I was thinking about putting him into my lineup and putting Scotty at 3. I mean, Scotty has played a lot of threes, so.
Yeah.
He's versatile enough.
Josh was trying to the old Nick Nurse long lineup.
6'8" and over, baby.
Yeah, offensively it may not work, but defensively nobody ever score on us, so.
And how did that work out for the Raptors?
Yeah, let's not talk about
No,
that.
but they messed up, man. They had Fred VanVleet. 6 foot point guard? Come on.
Yeah.
Just ruins the whole idea.
It's true. So it's me now, right?
No.
No, it's me. It's me. I mean, I have Anthony Edwards and Paolo Banchero so far. So I got my wings filled in. Do I go guard or do I go big?
Feels like point guard is the toughest position to draft here.
Yeah, I mean, without Cade. Yeah.
LaMelo's on the
Yeah.
board, though.
Yeah, we'll get to him soon, I'm sure.
Woo! Yeah,
Peter.
oh man, I'm stalling as long as I can here, Raj. Give me... Ooh, do I really want to pull this? Give me Alperen Şengün at the 5.
Well, good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
I figure Anthony Edwards and Paolo Banchero were like more than strong enough wing defenders that
And they're ball heavy.
have a bit. Yeah, I can have a bit of a slower guy at the 5. Hopefully, Paolo continues to cut without the ball if he ever plays without the ball.
So you're building your team like Detroit, just like the team that you follow. Your team doesn't make any sense right now. Your guys like to play in the same areas of the floor. It's like playing Amari with Carmelo back in the day. They all play from the elbow. It's like...
Yo, those Knicks teams were sick. All they needed was a point guard.
Yeah, except those
I just
guys
need to
never
find
played
my-
together. They were better when one of them was injured.
Nah, I just need to find my Raymond Felton, man.
Well, who's a fat point guard on the board? Let's see. I mean, Cam Thomas is a big boy. He's not really a point guard, but
Yeah.
he's thick.
Ooh. I mean, he is there.
I think I was supposed to say pause after that, right? That's what the kids say.
Just
Yes, pause.
Josh is this is the dating
Carmelo
pod.
Anthony says. Carmelo Anthony says pardon on his podcast now.
Pardon.
Pardon? I like that.
Pardon.
All right, go ahead, Josh.
Well, I mean, I'd take
There's no
Jalen
pick.
Williams now, right? He's the best player on the board right now, I think. So
Which one? The Asian one or the black one?
J Dub. Let's go with J Dub.
Jalen Williams.
I
Nice.
think you should have probably gone sooner, to be honest.
Ahead of Cade?
I guess it depends how you want a team build.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Williams is one of those types of players he can play in any system anywhere. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what type
yeah.
of role he's in either. Like it's sort of like, I'm not gonna say he's like Kevin Durant or anything, but in terms of like the fit, you can sort of put him in any lineup and he'll figure out a way to be successful.
He's versatile.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that the USA roster should have for 2028 on the Olympic team because he seems like the type of guy that wouldn't care if he doesn't get a ton of shots and he'll just go out there and just pound the point guard in the other team and do whatever he has to do. So I like the fit
And
here.
he'll know Shea's game perfectly.
No doubt. That's a good point, actually, because the U.S. is going to have a hard time, beating a lot of these teams come 2028 with all the veterans gone now. So that'll be interesting.
Don't worry, they have Jason
LeBron will
Tatum.
still be there.
Yeah, Mr. 0 for 16 on jumpers, who everyone's still, pining for to get more minutes for some ungodly reason. What would have been
Maybe
really
highest paid
interesting to
player
see in
in
the
the NBA.
finals if they actually just laid off him the entire time instead of double teaming him. What would have happened in that series? Because how many jump shots did he hit in that series? Not many until the last two games, right?
Yeah, he was cold.
Feels like Kid messed that up.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We're going to talk a lot about Celtics, but yeah.
Not today.
I'm not trying to hate on Jason Tatum for no reason. Who's your fourth pick, Josh?
Yeah, this is where it gets hard. I want to have a winning basketball team, so that's why I'm not going to be taking LaMelo here. Now the question is, what other guards are on the board here?
Scoot.
I was actually thinking about him, to be honest, as a future play, right? Because
Yeah.
honestly, going into the draft, I saw him playing, and I'm like, he's not quite on Victor's level, but then again, Victor might get injured. So maybe Scoot is or should be the number one pick in the draft. I was one of those types, but I was clearly very, very wrong on that. But I still like Scoot, but I can't pick him here because he didn't show enough in his first year. So I have to choose a guard. Thus, I'm stalling here because I actually don't know who to pick. I don't want to take
Part of the
Jalen
beauty of these
Green.
drafts.
What's that?
I said it's the beauty of these drafts. But wow, Jalen
No, I
Green.
don't
did
want
not
to take
expect-
Jalen Green.
Oh.
Peter's
I definitely
surprised
don't wanna
there.
take him.
He's like, okay.
I was like, oh my goodness.
You know
The
what?
last person I expect you to pick.
Yeah, I'm not picking him, especially after taking him into fantasy last year, having to dump him. No chance. I am going to go with Brandon Miller here.
Ooh, good
I
pick.
was wrong
Very
about
nice.
him. I did not think he would be as good as he was in the first season that he was, especially being off the ball and not having LaMelo in the lineup with how much he did on the ball as well, being able to run pick and roll. I did not expect that. I thought he'd be a good shooter in his first year, but he showed a lot more skill overall than I thought he was going to. So I'm going to take Miller here.
And remember, he played on a bad Charlotte team, which didn't have many other options. LaMelo was injured for most of the year. So, yeah, he got a lot of opportunities, but he was also one of the focal points on offense, so good experience for him.
And he was efficient, which you don't really see on, with really young players, especially rookies on bad teams. And I
Yep.
don't like sticking up for him because I didn't like him going to the draft, but, he surprised me, so I'll give him his credit.
He showed up,
Yeah.
to say the least. He definitely showed up. It's very impressive. Oh man. What do I do? What do I do? I also do not want LaMelo Ball. Consider Jalen Green. If I had made my team differently from the get-go, I would have taken Jalen Green. If I just had like a team full of chuckers, it would have been, I think, So we're doing perfect. Or if I just had purely defensive players and just threw in Jalen Green as like that offensive option, like AI.
Or if you're just swinging on talent, right? Because he's probably one of, if
One
not
of
the most talented player left.
Yeah. But as a point guard, oh, I don't
No,
know,
no,
dude.
no, no,
No,
no
no.
chance of that.
No. But can I put him at the 2 and put Ant at the 1?
No.
Is this allowed?
And it's not a one.
No?
Come on, man.
you
What about Bencaro?
no.
No.
Ant is more of a 1 than Bankero, but
You made these rules at the start of the podcast, and now you're just trying to trample all over them.
I'm just trying to see what you guys will let me get away with, man. I told you I want flexibility, but you know, I'm not trying to break any rules.
this guy's trying to put Jokic at the 1. That's what he's trying to do.
Yo, Jokic should be a 1.
I mean, Şengün is your best passer, so put him at the one.
Can I?
No.
All right, give me. Oh man, okay. Do I do this? I'm gonna have the best team finishing at the rim, man. Give me Jonathan, cum buckets, Kuminga. Yeah, I'm leaning into the chaos, man.
What are we trying to do in this exercise? Build an actual roster that's going to win a game, or are we just trying to pick the best talent? What are we trying to do here? I don't understand what you're trying to do.
Depends what you want to do, Josh.
It's all up to your imagination, huh? Because your team
Well,
is
you guys-
terrible.
I'm not gonna tell you how to lead your life.
Your
Yeah,
team
dude.
has issues, Peter. Big
Oh
issues.
my god. These guys all
You know
play
what?
from the exact same area on the floor, literally. Your team building concept
Yeah.
is terrible. Is your name Troy Weaver?
And
That is the Pistons GM, right?
wow, my heart. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
You see that Pistons hat right there? Right there?
Yeah.
Right there.
Just put it right on your head. Put it right on your head.
You should.
Always repping, baby. We're good, man.
Peter, we're gonna have to do some serious trades. Like, I'll trade you my 7th round pick for some of your players because you'll need some spacing, you'll need some shooting, you'll need some off-ball
Yeah, what are you
players.
talking about, man? My team can shoot.
You'll need some players who actually pass the ball besides Şengün.
That's what these guys are missing. Is just passing.
Don't worry, you got LaMelo. He's still on the board.
Yeah. Man, you're going to have like the ultimate turnover team too if you have LaMelo on your team with him and Edwards and
Dude, I'm not-
Bankero. Oh my god.
I cannot take LaMelo Ball. It's just not in my heart.
Yeah, of course not. That was the exercise. That was the test.
Who's gonna fall for LaMelo?
Who's left with him? It's like last pick. It's like, oh shit. You have a point guard that's not filled. Like,
Oh my goodness.
our,
All right, Raj, what do you got?
again, it doesn't matter in the bigger scheme because I have 2 players, but I have a few options at shooting guard. I'm thinking again a player who I think overall is just a good, solid, all-around player. Probably is, I want to say hit his ceiling, but he won't be a 1A guy or a 2A guy. Maybe a good third option, but I think that's fine. I'm going to take Franz Wagner.
Yeah, that's solid value. I can't get there with him though. I don't understand the talk with him. I don't think he's anywhere near Cade's level or Scotty's level. Even in the playoffs, you could just see it. Like, he just doesn't have any confidence in his shot. Same thing with the big games in the Olympics, too. And that's the biggest thing holding him back. Like, he's got a great off the dribble game going to the rim and such. Good passer, great rebounder, or very good rebounder. And he's really good defensively, but, him missing that shot is going to hold him back from being the so-called max player that he now is.
Yeah, but he's 23.
I don't know.
There's still time, but I don't think he's comparable to like Cade and those guys, right? Like he's definitely a tier or 2 below. There's no question.
Yeah, but, they were comparing him with all the guys in his draft class. I think Scotty's number 1 in the draft class right now. I think bar none. I think Cade is probably
yeah.
second. But, after that, I guess, who else is there? I know there's a few other guys in that draft class.
Mobley.
Oh, yeah, Mobley, of course, yeah. So I guess Mobley would be second, and then Cade third. But yeah, with Franz, I just can't get there. I think he's a really good third to fourth, maybe utility type option on a really good team, like a Iguodala type. I don't think that's like a legit scoring option.
No, but I think a third option is a good thing for him. Like, obviously he's getting paid as a number 2 player, and that's probably the biggest issue. But Orlando has an issue of retaining players. They don't want players to leave and look elsewhere. And I think they're slowly building a bit of a winning culture around Banchero, so you had to pay him. Like, it's just that was the ultimate. They cannot afford to lose him. And overall, they got KCP this year. They added a bit more shooting, more consistent, proven shooting at an NBA championship level. So maybe there's not as much pressure of him having to be there on the court when there has to be a big shot in, or if he's not playing well like he did in the playoffs, then they have some other options. So
I don't disagree, but this is also how you end up in the middle, right? You pay players like this, insane contracts. And I mean, it's not an insane contract for what it is right now based on the market and everything, but ultimately, you can't have him as your second best player if you expect to go anywhere. And because he's getting paid as your second best player, you can't obtain what should be your second best player. So, just not a fan.
Especially with the new salary cap.
Yeah.
You're kind of stuck with what you have at this point.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I think on my team right now, I think fits really well. Another international guy with Victor, a good passer, kind of multifaceted. I'm pretty happy with the lineup. Here's a bit of a wild card. I am going to round out my top five, or my starting five, and pick a player that probably I don't think you guys were looking at as much, but I still think he's a good player, and I think on my team will be able to do the job that I need him to do. I'm going to choose Denny Avdija. How do you even say his last name?
Avdia. Okay, expand. Go on.
Again, another international player. He can shoot the three, probably at 35+%. And overall, another bigger body, probably maybe not the most athletic, but we'll pick up some players in the later rounds.
So you just love the big body Euro dudes, huh?
Exactly. And passers and players who can get to their shot. And I think overall he's played on a really bad Washington team and still shooting the ball decently well. And he's improved every year. So I'm hoping that he'll continue to improve.
So Denny went from shooting 32% to 30%. And then last year in his fourth year, jumped up to 37% from three.
Not bad.
All of this is hilariously still hovering around 1 make per 3.1 attempts.
Hey,
Really?
He went from 1 to 1.2. So,
but
every year is still 3.1.
Wait, he had 1 make last year?
Per game.
1.2 per game, obviously.
Really? I thought it was higher.
1.2 out of 3.1. Denny does not shoot threes.
He's not a three ball, but he can shoot it at 30, 35 plus. And he did it last year. Not on a huge volume, but still.
Yeah, we'll see how he does with Scoot feeding him the ball instead of Tyus Jones last year. Or odd times Jordan Poole.
Ugh. You mean not feeding him the ball? He got pissed off so many. I saw so many clips on Instagram and YouTube with him just getting so angry at Jordan Poole, looking him off and taking crazy shots. So
wouldn't you?
He should have gone to a winning team. I said it before. OKC should have had him. OKC
Denny?
should have just spent a couple of their first round picks, picked him up. He would have been perfect for them because he's the type of player that they needed. They needed a 4 who can rebound and is a good all around player, and he fits that prototype, and he just keeps getting better.
They got Gordon Hayward instead.
Yeah,
The retired Gordon.
Yeah. Oh, so we're going roster of 7 here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going 7. You do not have to draft your top 5, your starting 5 first. So thank God, because there's no one jumping out at me a point guard.
I can't believe we need to talk about this now. Raj just picked Denny Avdija over LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, but I don't need a point guard. And LaMelo is a net negative on my team. Turnovers, doesn't pass, gets injured, plays stupid, doesn't play defense.
Hold on. We're not counting injuries. That's
fine. But
I think you have to count injuries, though.
Are we counting injuries?
I mean, you have to, right? This is everything in one, right? You're picking a player based on what they've done in the past, what you expect from them in the future, and then the net negatives of their game, which is he doesn't play.
And he doesn't play defense. He's not a good teammate. Like I'm not as in like I'm sure he's a nice guy, but
You know what this
he's
reminds me of? The Stephen A. Smith, Kwame Brown rant. Continue. He has no hands. He can't put a move to memory. Go ahead.
but like he's in his what? This is his fifth year in the NBA.
His dad's a prick.
Yep. Injured, but again, injuries are part of the game. It's unfortunate. Some players just seem to get in those injuries. Overall, high turnovers. Doesn't make his teammates better. No defense. Seems difficult to coach and is not serious. Like I don't know. Like Logan Roy would be like he's not a serious player, and I would say the same.
Wow. A slightly less dated reference than Pitbull, but I enjoy it. Good rant. Good rant. Very good. Oy, what do I do, man? So, on the bench, what kind of qualities do we look for a bench player?
Hey, you're looking
other
1 to
than
7.
just like pure scorers, man.
1 to 7 to balance out your team.
So Edwards, Paolo, Kuminga, and Şengün are my top 4 right now. Do I go for spacing? Do I go for a guy like Moses Moody who can shoot the ball?
Oh my god. We're in the Moses Moody section of this podcast? What is happening? What are you guys doing?
I'm just throwing out names, man. I'm throwing out feelers out there.
He doesn't even play for his own team.
That's part of the beauty of it, though, because I can unlock the potential, Josh.
That's too funny.
Oh my goodness.
Trust the process, man. Trust my process.
Man, you are insane.
I don't know where I'm
going
with this.
Moody here. I can't believe you're actually serious about this.
I thought it was a little crazy for even mentioning it, but I had to confirm. I'm looking at. I don't know. Do I go Josh Giddey, but deal with his potential legal ramifications?
I mean, at this point, you might as well. You might as well just pick a bunch of guys who just can't shoot, and I mean, he can pass at least.
Pure chaos,
Your team is never going to score in the half court.
Oh my god.
Give me Jalen Suggs. Give me Jalen Suggs.
Your team?
Dude, I have no... Who else am I going to pick for point guard? Cam Thomas?
Your team, if they had...
Keontae George?
If they had 4 balls on the court at once, there's still not enough basketball to go around.
You're just learning the type of guys that I like.
How did we let him beat us in fantasy basketball? His roster
How did you
is
let me beat
awful.
you? My fantasy team every year has no assists, and yet somehow I keep ending like top 3 or winning.
Yeah, I guess your teams are always a reflection of yourself. You just love chucking, right? So it makes sense.
Get the shots up, man.
Yeah, I mean, at least Jalen's going to play defense for you.
Yeah, and I know he's not going to try to do anything because he's not going to...
Your team's only going to play defense because if they get the rebound, then they're going to be the one taking the shot on the other end.
I don't care why you play defense. I just want you to play defense.
Yeah.
Take it.
And 4 out of my 5 starters are excellent defenders.
You're building a purely transition team, I guess, with Jalen Suggs and Ant in the backcourt. It's creating havoc on the perimeter, which I like on defense. But
that's an amazing backcourt.
But then you have Şengün, who doesn't run.
I thought you said Jalen Green.
Yeah, see, Şengün is... No, I said Jalen Suggs.
Oh, okay. Whew. That's what I was talking about the shooting.
No. Şengün is like the one who doesn't fit into this team anymore. But I need his like half court offense, man. I need a facilitator in the half court. That's not Ant.
Yeah, I feel it. It's not a bad pick, I guess. I like Jalen Suggs, so
See?
I can't do too much.
You just gotta listen to the rationale, man. Trust the process.
Okay, I heard Jalen Green. I had a mini heart attack.
No, man, he's
Yeah.
I'm saving him for later.
I mean, you can't have Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün on your fantasy team here, right? Because they can't play together in real life, so they shouldn't be able to play together here either.
Also, young guys who knock up like way older women, I'm out. Come on, man.
I'm out.
Go through that rookie transition program, Get some knowledge.
Okay.
Put a bag on it.
Quickly, on a serious note, who do you think Houston's going to keep in the next 2 years? Green or Şengün? They can't keep both. I don't think at this point.
No, it has to be one or the other. I kind of feel like they want Jalen Green to turn into something that he might not be capable of. Like I think that if he can become like an Anthony Edwards level of passer, I think they would totally lean into Jalen Green. But he hasn't like shown that to be part of his game consistently, at least.
He's only done it
What
when
is this?
Şengün isn't there.
That could also be the issue, yeah. But his scoring is like top notch.
When
Jalen
Şengün
Green
is
is
not
like
there.
yeah.
Jalen Green doesn't play winning basketball currently. Like, in terms of just efficiency. Like, he got more efficient this year, but overall, still not a player that I think you can necessarily say his style is going to bring you far. And especially with the pieces that they have around, it's harder to find a amazing big who's versatile, efficient, can pass. It almost seems like, I don't want to say they're preparing for life outside without Jalen Green, but I think they know that if they don't keep him in 2 years, they have some other players that are coming in.
Yeah, I feel like they should have traded for Bridges while they had the opportunity.
For McHale?
That was the rumored trade. Just a matter of how many picks was in the trade and where the picks were going, really.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
That would have been.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
I have two now, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Okay, so my first pick is going to be, I'm not going to take LaMelo Ball. um,
Just Jalen Green after we roasted
Yeah.
him for 5 minutes.
He's super happy.
I'm actually going to take one of his teammates as my second pick. But with my first pick, I have two guys that I'm going back and forth on. I'm not sure who to pick. I think because I have Scotty Barnes, I probably can't pick the other guy that I'm thinking of. So I'm going to go with Jabari Smith Jr. here. I think Jabari Smith Jr. is an excellent basketball player. And I think he can fit in sort of like the other guys on my team. They can fit in pretty much any situation. And I think he was being held back in his first year, especially having to play with Jalen Green and barely ever touching the ball, just like in college, where he had a bunch of selfish guards on his team and he never touched the ball. But he just seems like the prototype of every type of, every team that, wants this type of player on their team, obviously, right? You have a 6'11 guy who can guard pretty much any position on the floor. He can play small ball five. His jump shot is wet. And, he showed a lot of ball skills last year. And he's only 21, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he's 21 years old. So I think he's a lot better than, people are saying that he is because he doesn't really get a lot of attention. But I think once Houston figures out what they're going to do with their 15 really good young players, I think he might be the best player on the team, honestly.
He could be. It's a bit early. Like, this year will be his year where they'll be able to assess him and see how he fits in with the rest of the players. But this is his third year in the NBA, so this is usually the year where you're going to see, is he going to be unlikely a number one, but is he going to be a 2 or 3 or 4 kind of guy?
Yeah, I think he's a perfect 3, to be honest. Third option. And if you're going to build around Şengün, I think he's the perfect power forward to build around him because you have a guy that can, like, he's basically like the player. If you're trying to win a playoff game and you're looking at Houston's roster right now, like, he's the guy that you would take off their roster right now, I would think. Am I wrong in saying that? Like, who else would you take if you're like a high-level team like OKC or Denver?
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy that you would
Well,
want
be him.
because he's a piece that can fit, like you mentioned, in many different areas.
Well, him or Freddie, championship point guard,
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
floor leader, all those kind of, all those things.
Except
But yeah, one of those two for sure.
Freddie can't make a shot inside the arc.
That also goes back to your question of like Şengün or Jalen Green, right? Because if we're talking about Şengün being so dominant with Jabari, like both those guys flourished off of each other last year, but the Jabari and Jalen Green combination was good, but it wasn't like anything to write home about, right? So I don't know. It's a good pick for you.
Who's the next?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have one more pick, right?
Yep.
So here I am going to take Reed Shepherd off the board.
Wow.
I love Reed
very
Shepherd's
nice.
game. He reminds me so much of Mark Price from back in the day with Cleveland. He's sort of like Mike Bibby as well. A guy that he's just lethal off the dribble. He's got a beautiful spot up shot
Yeah.
as well. And he's a really good passer. It's just his size is the only thing holding him back. But, he showed in college he was one of the steal leaders. He's really active on defense. He tries really hard. So I think that's going to benefit him in the long run. And obviously he hasn't played a game yet, so we don't know. But I think he has a better opportunity to become maybe like a top 10 to 12 point guard in the NBA. And again, a guy that can fit around a lot of different types of players because the shooting is so great, and he can shoot from 30 feet already coming in the NBA and shoot off the dribble, which is very rare for a rookie.
Would you
How tall is he? Like
Six.
6'1", 6'2"?
6'1", I think.
Yeah.
Would you say that his shooting is better than JJ Redick's? I know one's a catch and shoot, one's off the dribble. It's a bit different.
Yeah, it is different. So it's hard to say. I mean, in college, JJ was like the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to
Yeah,
compare the
like
two,
literally.
obviously. But in the NBA, he definitely has a higher ceiling than JJ Redick, I think. I think he can be at least, like I said, a top 12-ish type of point guard. I think he can be better than like a guy like Quickly, for example. So
Yeah.
I think that, there's a future play, obviously, but out of all the guards that are left right now, I like his chances.
Should have gone with Josh Giddey, man.
Giddey cannot play in the playoffs. We already saw that. You need
Is your team
shooting.
even making the playoffs?
Oh my God. Have you seen my roster? We need to put this out as a poll in our group and then see who would, which person would choose what type of roster. I think in the end, I mean, it's hard to not choose Victor, obviously, but
No, but
we'll see.
also there's like you got to look. Some players are just more have higher name recognition. Like if you look at it, like a team of Anthony Edwards, Banchero, like those are bigger names than players like Franz and Mobley, right?
Yeah, but if you're looking at it as which team is going to beat the other in an NBA basketball game, I think you need a little bit more shooting than what Peter has right now.
Yeah, but
Oh, in an NBA game, my team might actually win.
Peter.
In a FIBA game, Raj's team probably win.
Yeah, but you got to remember this too. Peter's team's gonna sell jerseys.
My team gets numbers.
So we're judging now by how many
Numbers.
fans are in the stadium and how much merchandise is being sold. Interesting. Maybe the TV deal will come
All
into
types
play
of
now
numbers.
too.
All right. With my sixth pick, after all this hate about my team, let me go with maybe it's about time I pick a glue guy. Me,
LaMelo.
not that type of glue guy. I meant someone who's actually good at being a glue guy. Do I want to keep with this athleticism? That's the real question. Wow, what do I do? Do I go big? You know what's funny? You know how like when you have a draft like this, you highlight all the guys that you want, like who the guys that like pop out to you. All my remaining guys are like super athletic guys. Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, Derek Lively. Who else is left in here? Shaden Sharp. Just super athleticism, and Walker Kessler. Who wants Walker Kessler, man? It's not a fun name.
I know Josh is itching to add him to his roster.
It's gonna be Josh.
I know.
Josh's seventh guy.
Josh is gonna jump through the screen and strangle you if you say Walker Kessler.
I don't understand why they're trying to trade him right now. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Josh is
I
fuming.
mean, he's just. Why is it confusing to you?
I think he's a really good basketball player. I think the only thing he doesn't do well right now is obviously he's not the greatest offensive player, but defensively, like the numbers show that he's one of the best defensive big guys in the NBA. So
I think there's a worry that he turns into like Rudy Gobert,
what's wrong
He's
with
good,
that?
like,
He's a
where
20-something
he's
pick in the
good.
draft.
where he's great during the season, but then when it comes to the playoffs, he's exploitable.
For a lot of teams, that's not bad, especially for a center.
I agree. I think that's just the worry. And like, it's Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is going to shop everyone on his team. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, if
You know what I mean?
if New York ends up getting him for like 2 crappy first-round picks, I think they might ultimately win the championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh is trying to get the first pick next year.
All right. Well, let's go with. I'm gonna pull a Detroit. Give me Jalen Duren.
All right. What? Explain yourself.
Raw athleticism, excellent finisher, excellent, amazing defender. Not even excellent defender, amazing defender. 21. He's raw. He's coachable. He's a beast. He's gonna feed off Şengün.
No spacing, though.
Yeah.
I don't need spacing.
I think the bigger question is, why would you choose him over Lively?
See, I was like debating between the two. Obviously, Duren is not proven in any playoffs because Detroit sucks and doesn't make the playoffs. But I think Lively is a recipient of a better team around him. Obviously, it's obvious that Dallas is a better organization around him than Detroit is for Duren, right? But I think Duren has a higher potential.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I don't know. I just see something in him. What is it? I don't know. I just think I think he works really well with a good point guard. Do I have a good point guard? I have Jalen Suggs, so yeah. But if you saw him and Cade last year when they were healthy, the connection's strong, man.
You know, as a Detroit fan, you've already gone through this one time with Andre Drummond, and you just want to recreate it all over again, don't you?
Peter's trying to relive
It is
his.
what it is. Andre Drummond could have been Andre Drummond is like a longtime veteran, but he could have been something like really crazy. I wonder what it was that like held him back.
Himself.
Intelligence?
Likely.
Like basketball intelligence.
Yeah, like basketball IQ. Yeah, maybe.
I'm not even sure
know.
that's it. I think it's just longing for a role that you're just not fit in. I think that Duren might be in the same scenario where he thinks he's better than he is on offense, when he should just focus on the things that he's good at, which is why, going back to the whole Lively point, like, Lively has done the things that Dallas asked him to do and did it at a very elite level. Would Duren have done that if he was in the same scenario? Is he mature enough? I don't know.
Who wouldn't do that with Luka passing them the ball?
Yeah.
No, but it's about more than that, though, right? Like, Lively was always in the right spots on defense. He knew the right passes to make on the pick and rolls. He just made all the right plays, and that's the biggest thing in Duren's game. Like, he doesn't make the right plays a lot of the time because he's trying to get his 16 to 20 points a game, just like Drummond tried to used to do.
Yeah, it's Detroit. It's different when you're in playoffs as compared to like, what were they last year? A 20-win team? You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just gotta get your numbers because your team sucks.
Yeah.
And you know your team sucks. I think when your team is that bad, there's a real recognition of what your teammates are capable of, right? And also what the organization wants you to do. Like if they want Jalen Duren to excel, then he's gonna go put up numbers.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like if you, Josh, like when we play pickup, if you tell me to shoot, I'm gonna go shoot. But if you tell me, hey, you're cold, like slow down, okay, I'll slow down. I'll start moving the rock more. It is what it is, right? Like if your role on the team is to rebound or to score, then that's your role.
Yeah, as many have pointed out before me, a lot of it's just a matter of fit. And, when you're coming in the NBA, if you get put in the wrong situation, your career could be over within your rookie contract. So Duren got put in a bad scenario. He's made the most of it so far, I guess. But there's a lot of holes in this game, obviously. But as you mentioned, if Lively got drafted in Detroit, maybe we're talking about this in the opposite way. So,
yep. Raj, back to back. Think we stalled for you long enough?
Yeah.
Jalen Duren.
yeah.
I have 4 players. I'm trying to narrow down to the best 2 that I can pick for my team.
Just going Jalen Green and LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
back to back.
If I could just double up on both of those players to increase, because no one on my team really wants to shoot the ball. I
think everyone on your team wants to shoot the ball, other than Evan Mobley.
Yeah, but
you got 4 chuckers, man.
Chill. I think for me, the players I'm going to choose between all in all doesn't really matter because I don't have any other picks after these next 2. I'm thinking I want to add a bit more athleticism, and the name that jumps out to me is just Jalen Johnson. Then there's a player who just I need a bit more scoring, just someone who get me buckets, kind of if my team's struggling. And Cam Thomas, again, not efficient, but just the high volume six that or seventh guy off the bench would be not a bad option. And then again, we haven't talked about him. I'm surprised. It's just hard because we haven't seen him play in the NBA, but there has to be something said about Alex Sarr. I don't think he's going to be a number one guy, but I still think he's going to be a very good NBA player. And it'd be nice to have two 7-foot Frenchmen who can essentially play various positions, be super, like, I'll have like the Tri-City Towers with Mobley, Alex Sarr, and Wembanyama. And then the last player I'm thinking of, just picking up off the bench, a bit more of a wild. No.
Get all the French guys.
No, we're not going Team Europe. I'm not. I have traveled a lot, Josh, but I'm not that French. Yeah, and then again, the other player I was thinking of just adding would just be a player like Jalen Green, just because I need scoring. So you know what? I'm gonna go with. In the 7th or 6th pick, I'm going to add a bit more athleticism and choose Jalen Johnson. And then Alex Sarr as my 7th pick.
Yeah, solid future plays. I think everyone's overreacting to Alex Sarr's Summer League. I know he had the worst Summer League game of all time, going over 15 from the field. But he has all the capabilities, all the abilities, and all the potential to become a very solid, big man in the NBA. So just a matter of he's being drafted to Washington, and can they build an NBA team to where he's not just going to be flushed down the toilet?
Doesn't seem likely, but good pick, I think. I don't know. I'm not high on Alex Sarr either. So
7th pick, had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Well, when you're doing fantasy, you know how like the last few slots are you sort of just like throw away.
Yeah.
They're guys that you inevitably trade or you're gonna like waive. I kind of feel like using that spot, like that ideology right now as well, and just leaning towards like a Denver Nugget, Peyton Watson, or Christian Brown. Maybe go a little.
What are you talking
Peter's going
about?
straight Pistons and Nuggets. He's going for the Pistons and Nuggets collab.
You're talking about
Hold on.
potential, and then you're choosing two role players? What are you talking about?
Or I go like GG Jackson, showed out for the Grizzlies last year. Not just potential. I'm talking about I'm just talking about players, man. Just young guys.
I don't
Maybe
understand.
Josh is just
what
frustrated
you
because you're choosing all the guys he wants.
just said. No.
No, these are far from Josh type of players, man. None of my guys are Josh type of players, other than Ant and Banchero.
I do like Christian Braun.
Even Ant,
though, I must say.
I don't think Ant is a Josh type of player either.
I mean, I'm not as high on him as everyone else. Everyone's just, saying he's going to be the next Michael Jordan and such. It's like, relax.
No. I don't think people are saying that. I think people are just saying he's one of the next superstars of the league. And I'd rather have him as a superstar of the league than Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
Well, Jason Tatum at least. Brown's all right.
Brown sucks.
Whoa. We will not have Jaylen Brown slander here. Finals MVP, bro. How can you say he sucks? What a hot take.
He sucks for the face of the NBA.
Oh, he's just
He's a good player. Like
he's educated.
Yes, he's too educated to be the best.
He's too educated. All that being said, I'm gonna continue with my theme of pure athleticism and high flyers. So give me Shaedon Sharpe.
Not a bad pick.
Of course, it's not a bad pick. It's Shaedon Sharpe. Last year he had you like that, eh, Josh?
Very nice.
It's not going to be a bad, great retort. But last year he had some instances where he really showed out. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year and give the Trailblazers some much needed backcourt depth. Since Scoot had a rough year in his rookie year.
Okay, so
but I like Shaedon. Shaedon's got a really good game.
Quickly, same scenario as Houston. What is Portland going to do with their roster at the guard position? They have a lot of guys there. So what's the plan?
They're going to train Simons, for sure.
So then Sharp and Scoot is your backcourt of the future.
Yeah. They're not in win now. They're gonna again just develop their guy. Their goal, I think, would probably be to have a competitive team that's competing for a playoff spot in 2 years. Like not this year, not the next year, but the year after. But they want to set that up, like make sure that their payroll is good enough to get maybe an accessory piece to their young guards. And they're gonna wait for that Jeremy Grant contract to expire.
No, I think they're going to trade him. I mean, his contract
Well,
looks
they'll
bad,
try.
but everyone seems to, again, want that type of player, going back to old Jabari Smith Jr. Talk, obviously, with Jeremy Grant. They do different things on the floor, obviously, but same prototype. So I think ultimately he's going to get traded.
Yeah.
You think he get traded this year for sure. I mean, he has 4 years left on his deal. He's still in the prime of his career, so he's going to go somewhere this year for sure.
He's gonna go to a contender for sure, but at like 30 million a year, that's tough, man.
He
No,
has
for
1 or 2 years left, I think.
He's got 4.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to try to wind that down. He might go this year, but I think overall, Sharp, Scoot, they may keep Denny and then they have Aiden. I wouldn't be surprised that if they even wait for Aiden to become a trade piece and go from there.
I'm not sure you can trade him
Yeah,
at
it's
this
not
point.
bad.
But I do like the idea of the Scoot and Sharp backcourt. I like both those players. I think Sharp is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And the final pick in
All
the
right, Josh, round
draft,
it out.
yeah, I mean, the guy that I was going to pick before has already been taken, which is Jalen Johnson. He plays very similarly to Scotty Barnes. That's why I didn't take him. But he would have been my pick. I am not taking LaMelo still, so he is not going to get drafted in this, which is crazy. Um, I guess the player that I like the most that has actually played an NBA game so far that's left right now is probably Asar Thompson. Actually, no, sorry, Amen Thompson from Houston. I do like Asar as well from Detroit, but Amen, good.
No, I'm just saying you got Houston on lock.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the Houston guys, honestly. Like, they have a lot of talent on their bench, especially. But, Amen being able to play center last year in those small ball lineups and winning, like, however many games they won in a row, like 12 or 13 games in a row. And just, he's like the jack of all trades, he's a master of a few, actually. He reminds me a lot of Iguodala, and especially defensively. Offensively, he has a way to go because, Iguodala came in with a lot more of a skill set. But Ahmed had a lot of 2010, 2015 type of games in the second half of the regular season last year. And defensively, he's just a freaking monster. Like the way he guarded Shea in one of those games, he blocked his shot 3 times. Like you just don't see those types of players come around very often. So I'm going to fill up my roster with another guy that can guard a lot of different positions and has a lot of potential.
All right. Well, that runs out our 7. Notable players who are left on the board. This year's number 1 pick, Zachary Risache. Cam Thomas, who we've talked about a couple of times. Josh Giddey,
Okay,
who
no.
I jokingly
He
said.
is not one of those types of players.
I'm just naming off dudes just in general. Not like I'm not
I
putting
can't
them
believe you
in
guys
so
actually
offended.
considered
Category.
Cam Thomas in the first place.
No, I
I'm
can.
just saying he's
I,
available.
I considered him as my 7th pick, just scoring. That's it.
Anyways, other guys, LaMelo Ball, who we've said a bunch. Mark Williams, who kind of sneaky nice. Trey Mann, who had a big half year last year for the Hornets. The 2 Nuggets guys, Jaden Ivey, who knows what's happening in Detroit again. Benedict Mathurin,
Yeah.
shocked that he didn't go.
Sant-
Jaime Jaquez Jr.,
Santi.
Santi Aldama.
Yeah.
Santi's okay. I mean, he's
Still a
not
good
going to be a
player.
starter. Whatever. He's fine. Kason Wallace, who I think we all love, but it's sort of just a one-trick pony at this point. Scoot, lots of potential. Donovan Clingan, same thing. Stephon Castle for the San Antonio Spurs. Jeremy Sohan, who Pop said was going to play point guard last year. Good thing he stopped that. The Utah Jazz. We didn't choose anyone from the Utah Jazz, including Walker Kessler, Keontae George, Kyle Filipowski. Raj, did you end up taking Alex Sarr?
Yeah,
Oh, you did
yeah.
take Alex Sarr.
But
Wow.
but I think the big name that you skipped on that probably would have been my next pick would have had I not taken Alex Sarr would have been Derek Lively. He's
Ah, yes. Sorry, I forgot about that.
he's
Yeah.
probably one of the best names on the board left.
Yeah, if I didn't take a
Yeah.
bunch of big guys, he would have been one of my picks for sure. So
Yeah, I do want to trade. I regret taking Denny instead of Jabari Smith Jr. That was probably the biggest. That would have helped round out my team quite a bit.
Yeah. Denny was that was a wild take.
It's okay. He'll have a big year in Portland.
yeah, that's
People
like
actually
picking,
pass him the ball.
that's like picking Hoffa over Iggy back in the day.
Alpha. Oh, good stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna post these somewhere on one of our socials, and we'll see who people like. Wow,
I'll take the
how
W.
exciting!
W for Vic.
Who do you think will get? Who do you
Wembanyama.
think will win? Who do you think would get the most votes?
Votes?
Like, who do you think? Yeah, whose team do you think would get the people's attention the most?
Whoever
It-
has Victor on it, Raj is going to win, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you look at like the totality of the roster, I have the best roster.
I think honestly your roster is very good. But they're all around guys.
I feel like this is what you do with your fantasy draft every year, and this is what I do with my fantasy draft every year.
Oh no. And this is what
you're
I do
talking
with
to the
my
current-
fantasy draft every year.
And you're talking to the current champion, baby. Talk to Randy and his spreadsheets. You know?
Yes, yes. R.I.P.
All right. Well, enough of our fantasy talk. I want to thank everyone for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. We're on all the social platforms. You can find us on all the major podcast networks as well. All the socials at HoopsCornerPod. And until next time, peace.